All right, guys, welcome back to SportZrant. It's just Will today. Jesse's a little busy this afternoon, so it's just going to be me. And I want to do a little solo rant about an issue we need to address on the channel, I guess, that's been going up right now. And that's UFC 224, I believe it was, which was Nunes versus Pennington. And there's really a couple of things that I want to kind of rant about and get off my chest, I guess, and give my opinion about. So let's just dive into it. So the first thing I guess I personally want to address is Mackenzie Dern and her being 7.5 pounds overweight and what that really means. So I watched Mackenzie Dern fight Ashley Yoder, and then I watched this fight as well. And when I watched the Yoder fight, I thought, okay, she's got some stuff she really needs to work on. Her attitude wasn't great. It wasn't my favorite, but, whatever. We'll see what goes on. And then you hear about all the stuff that happened in between those two fights. I know I'm kind of diving in quick, but I got a lot I want to get off my chest. So Mackenzie Dern had issues with MMA Lab. They invited her to leave, which is basically getting kicked out. I don't really understand what? Like, you were kicked out of your own camp. And that's what she's blaming towards having so much trouble with the weight cut. But to me, I just go, well, and the other thing is she missed her flight on Monday, so she didn't even arrive till Tuesday. So I look at it and I go, okay, it's not like she missed it by 1 or 2 pounds. She missed it by almost 8, which is a lot. I mean, I don't know. I guess I just feel like it was very disrespectful to the fighters and to Amanda Cooper, really, who had to make that cut and did make that cut for really no reason at all. And apparently she's had trouble with this throughout her career in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So on the record of this, where we go from here is, was she allowed to fight? Which she was, which was Cooper's decision. So I have no qualms with that. I know a lot of people are saying her weight contributed to her win and all these things. I personally don't agree with that. I watched the fight. Mackenzie really honestly just hit her with a haymaker and knocked her on her butt. And then as soon as she got to the ground, when that fight got to the ground, it didn't matter if Mackenzie weighed 10 pounds or 125 over. Like, it doesn't matter. She was going to win on the ground. And that's what happened. So I really don't think her weight played that much of an aspect. I think either way, Cooper would have lost on the ground at that point. So, I mean, you could argue she got a little more power in the punch, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you could really go into that. But personally, I don't think the way the fight played out, the weight really mattered that much. And Cooper agreed to the fight with, the pay cuts for being taken from Mackenzie and all that stuff. So at the end of the day, I go, the fight should have happened, and it's all fair up to this. What I look at now is the future for Mackenzie. Personally, I was really hoping that Amanda Cooper would be able to kind of teach her a little bit of lesson, especially just because, God, her stand-up is nasty looking. Like, it's just hard to watch. She's just kind of throwing these weird, whaley punches all over the place, and it just drives me nuts to watch it. But what this means for me moving forward and what the 7 pounds over means is I don't feel like she's taking this very seriously. I don't feel like she's taking her newfound career and the UFC very seriously, her training very seriously. I wonder, I don't know, but I wonder if that contributed to her being let go from MMA Labs or asked to leave or whatever the hell it was. So for her future, I go, okay, she needs to get a wake-up call of someone, because right now Cooper may not have been the one, but she's going to hit a wall eventually of somebody that's going to show her what the UFC is, especially when she starts hitting ranked opponents, and that's going to kind of wake her up, I think. And I don't know, I guess that's really where I'm at with it. I go, my impression from the being late, the 7.5 pounds over, is she's not even trying. And she kind of got lucky with that haymaker and managed to land one. I don't expect that luck to continue, but I do expect her behavior to continue of not caring or not putting forth as much effort as she should. I would be surprised. I hope she turns it around. It'd be awesome if she did. I mean, she's got the skill set to be really good. And if she can learn stand-up, she's got, even decent stand-up. She's got the chance to be awesome. But if she continues to not try or appear like she's not trying, she's going to run into someone, especially in that division, that's going to, she's not going to get them to the ground. They're going to just sprawl right out of her takedowns and just technically beat the crap out of her. So that's my thoughts on Mackenzie Dern and her whole situation. Personally, I kind of agree with Cooper that it was, a little disrespectful. Felt like she wasn't taking the situation seriously. So let's table that and let's move on to the bigger one, the one that everybody's been talking about, the big fight of the night, which was Nunes versus Pennington. For the bantamweight title. And the biggest thing here was in the fourth round, when they went to their corners, Rocky went to her corner and was caught on camera saying that she was done. She said, "I'm done. I want to be done." And then her corner proceeded to talk her out of it, which caused a ruckus across Twitter. I mean, people freaking out, especially how the rest of the fight played out with Rocky losing, especially to TKO, taking another pretty nasty shot to the nose. So that was kind of the situation. And what led to a blaze was, okay, so you got the corner talking her into going back in, saying, "No, you're not done. Let's leave it all out there. Let's do our thing." And then she goes back out there. She lands maybe a couple of punches, maybe a combination, and then Nunes proceeds to kind of get her taken down and do some ground and pound and busts open the nose again. And when she did that, Rocky just kind of covered up and took the shots and loses. And that set the world ablaze. So you got everyone on Twitter, fighters, everybody saying, "What the hell? Why did the corner send her back out? She said she was done. You listened to the fighter, blah, 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 blah." And then you've got, after the fight, and it felt a little ambushy, but Amanda Nunes said that her corner failed, that Pennington's corner failed her by sending her back in, and that she felt if she went to her corner and said she was done, that, she would be pulled. So a lot of discussion surrounding this. Not to mention the simple fact that it took Rocky a little while to comment on it. I believe she just commented today, which she backed her corner and their decision. So there's a few things I want to break down with this, okay? Do I personally feel like they made the right call sending her out there? Again, to me, it's really tough. It's a really tough one, right? So, yes and no. So there's a few things to consider here and consider what you need to break down. So for me, I honestly, all things considered, say yes. In hindsight, yes, it probably was the right move sending her back out. Because of, okay, so let's break it down and look at a few things. So one of the things that's irritating me the most is people looking at situations that, like this is black and white of, hey, the fighter said they were done, you pull the fighter, they don't go in there. It's not that black and white. You can't do that. First of all, the fighter can stop at any time she wants. Like Rocky could have stopped it at any time if she wanted to, which I believe she says that in her statement. So you've got that aspect of it, right? But to me, there's a few things to look at. One was, okay, as far as stopping the fight, why I think they should have at least considered stopping the fight, because he very quickly said no, was the fact that she was down 4 rounds. I don't feel like she won a single one of those rounds. She really wasn't on the same level as Nunes the whole fight. So it was pretty clear it was a 4-0. So that she would have had to knock her out. And Nunez was not like in bad shape at all. She looked fantastic. She was ready for round 5 and could easily go. So it would have had to have been a mistake on Nunez's part or a crazy coincidence to get this win for Rocky. So it would have had to have been a Pennington choke or a Pennington knockout to win that fight, which was highly unlikely given the situation that Rocky was in and Nunez, where each fighter was on their scale. So there you go. Okay, what are you gaining? Then you've got to look at the damage that Pennington had taken at that point, which she had taken quite a bit. Her nose was broken, and she had taken a ton to her leg. Her leg looked nasty. It's all sorts of welted. So on that side of it, I go, okay, what's the upside there? Well, honestly, the upside is for your fighter. Okay, this is a championship fight. Will they want to go 5 rounds? When they look back on this, will she wanted to have been able to say, hey, I went to 5? And in that regards, I go, okay, Rocky is definitely that person. Definitely one of those people that goes, hey, no, try to finish this, try to push through. You're going to want to know that, hey, I went the 5 rounds. I didn't give up. Because you got to believe that really messes with a fighter's psyche. Not when it's different when your corner, like I've seen some fights with like Joe Liaison where his corner was like, no, Joe, you're done, man. I'm sorry, we're calling it. It's different when the fighter comes over and at their lowest point they go, I'm done. I want to be done. I can't do this. You know what I mean? Like to give up at that point and you just go, okay, let's back off. That's got to be a tough pill to swallow the next morning of like, not only did I lose, but I quit. I gave up instead of finishing that round. So I totally get it. That I really feel like that was kind of where their head was at. Was like, hey, no, we're here. We're gonna push through this. You're gonna finish. You need one more round. Come on, Rocky, you can do this. And I think that's really where she was at too. Was she was like, I'm really glad they did talk me into it and didn't let me cave at my weakest point. So I agree with her on that point. Now, where I get to nitpick here is the fact of the matter is, first of all, why this exploded was, A, she clearly lost, but B, was the amount of damage she took when she went back in. Like, she busted up her nose again. So it was kind of worst case scenario. Well, maybe not the worst case, but one of the worst case scenarios when she went back in. So I really feel that's part of the reason why it exploded. And then on top of that, one of the things I felt they should have done, and maybe they would have if they would have had more time, was, hey, give the little spiel of, hey, let's focus in on me, say, be here, change your mindset, blah, 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 whatever he said. And then ask her again. You know what I mean? See where she's at. Because if you give her your little speech and she still goes, no, I'm not changing I'm done. Then, yeah, I think it's probably time to call it because you've done what you could to try to pump her up and get her through this and kind of get her going, and it didn't work. She's still there, which means when she goes out there, she's not in the fight. Her head isn't here. She's physically just going through the motions, which is dangerous. So if I'm nitpicking anything that I feel like her corner may have done wrong, it's that. I also read a great article on, I think it was on ESPN or Bleacher Report, that pretty much said the same thing. That said, hey, they didn't do anything wrong. They probably should have just pushed a little more to see where her head was at and if she was feeling better going into that 5th round. But honestly, they probably ran out of time. So at the end of the day, do I think she needs to fire her whole corner crew like they were calling on Twitter and all that? No, I don't think so. I really don't. I think at that point, her winning that fight was such a long shot that, you know what I mean? Like it'd be easy to say, oh, don't go out for the 5th. So to me, for Pennington, what she was going to get out of that fight was no longer the win. You know what I mean? Like the odds of her winning were so low that she probably wasn't going to get the win. So by finishing in the fight, we were into a realm of, okay, we're going to get some confidence from this, get some pride out of this of like, hey, I finished that fight with Nunes, and I did my best. I went out there. I didn't give up. And hopefully she can come back stronger. Unfortunately, this was her first fight after a year and a half off. That's a pretty tough fight to come into. So hopefully she can look at it and build from it, and go, hey, I did go back in there. And so, yeah, I just calm down, Twitter. So that's my opinion on it. Is at first I was kind of in the same boat of everybody of like, don't send her back out there. She's getting creamed. But now in hindsight, with everybody else looking at it and going, okay, seeing the stuff I've seen about Rocky and the thing, and obviously her corner knows her better than any of us, but just seeing her personality the way she is, I think it would have been a big deal for her to finish and not quit. I think that would have weighed on her mentally of like, I gave up. This was one of the toughest points in my career. I'm in a title fight that I'm getting my butt kicked in, and I quit. I gave up, so at least a little source of pride for her now is that, hey, I went back in. I went to 5. So it just kind of sucks that gets negated by everybody saying, well, because you tried to give up, but the corner made you. Anyways, I'm not going to rant a little more about it. What I'm just going to say is I don't think we should crucify her corner anymore. I think at the end of the day, that was a decision between her and her fighter. It would have been different to me if Rocky would have kept pushing. Like if she would have been interrupting him saying, no, I'm not done. I'm not going to change my mindset. I'm done. My nose is broken. I'm done. Then it's different. She just kind of had that quick reaction when she got to her corner of like, this sucks. I'm done. I'm in pain, and then he talked her through it, and she turned around. She went back in, maybe not at 100%, but she went back in. If she would have been like, hey, no, I don't care what you're saying, I'm freaking done, then yeah, that's then we could crucify him. Right now, I don't think we need to crucify him. I think they made the best decision they could knowing their fighter. And she's come out saying that she supports him. Tisha came out saying she supported him. So I think at the end of the day, we just go, hey, it's her corner, bro. Let them do what they got to do. Maybe that's what she needs. So I think we just let it be and hopefully learn from it, I guess. Did we learn anything? I don't know. Well, that's my opinions on some of the weird stuff that happened at UFC 224. I hope that's the right one. Those numbers get confusing to me sometimes. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know if you think that Mackenzie Dern's amazing and she can do whatever she wants, doesn't have to cut weight. Let me know your opinion about the Pennington corner. Maybe you feel like they were completely out of line and shouldn't have sent the fighter in there for extra damage. Let me know. I'll be down there talking to you in the comments below, and everybody have a good day. All right, bye.